Welcome to a discussion of a proposal by the McIlvaine Company for Thermax. We are definitely interested in having a hands-on webinar, but we can do that later. But this will at least answer some of the preliminary questions. I think let's start by just looking at some of the information that the McIlvaine Company has been posting about Thermax. You can see here that we have a number of articles in our various different newsletters, although there has been some things recently too, but they're in another section. But these are some of the older ones. And for instance, announcing some of your license for the Airpol scrubber, and I'm very familiar with the Airpol products and the PureFill products. In fact, we were just at a conference yesterday and attending the PureFill booth in terms of odor control for wastewater plants. Of course, Environmental Elements is long gone. It's part of Clyde Bergman now, but we follow the precipitator and are very familiar with some of the internal elements, internals of the Environmental Elements collectors. And so we're tracking this sort of information. We also are involved of course, in heat exchangers and in fact the whole SPX. I see you do have a license with SPX, and of course they have a bulky DIR group too, and their precipitator is apparently the precipitator that you're now using for your designs, and so we've been writing about some of their activities as well. And we see here in our precipitator newsletter of November 2011 that Thermax was awarded multiple ESP contracts, and I see you have the FGD license also from Airpol, but that's some time ago, so that probably has changed. But we are working all over the world, so we can communicate to cement companies in Egypt about your activities. In fact, we just received an inquiry from the Association of Egyptian Industries, and they are very seriously considering the possibility of using coal in their cement plants and in many of their other industrial plants where they've been using oil up to now. And we were recommended by the U.S. government as the consultant that who would be able to help them, at least by one of the U.S. government employees, as the consultant that would be able to help this Egyptian industry decide whether to use coal or not and look at the air pollution results. So there's a lot of things that we do know about Thermax, and of course we're interested to learn more. Let's also look at briefly at the quotation, which we kind of arbitrarily put a few of our services, but it would be a way to get started anyway, certainly for the world market to look at initially the we have these 3,000 or 4,000 page market reports, and we can briefly, I'll take a few minutes to go over some of them with you. But the first report's at full price, and then the second report is at a reduced price. The third report is at a reduced price, and so forth. So the end result is that as you get these packages, the price keeps going down, and of course, as you have multiple users, the price goes down too. So for a fairly modest amount, you can get a whole strategic, really marketing device or tool to use that has these forecasts for every country of the world. Now, we also put in this Chinese utility plans because we're actually tracking every one of the projects and plants in China. But we do, of course, in addition to this, have a number of other type systems that would allow you to identify specific sales leads all over the world. So that would be a starting point, but I think the power of what we actually offer, however, is in the whole system. So you would start with some of the market reports, but what we're saying is that the market reports are really only the traffic control on a 4-lane knowledge bridge to the end users. So these market reports tell you what vehicles to send out in what lanes and over which bridge. But when it gets down to actually doing the sales, identifying all the plants and projects, the networking directories, we would have contacts at Chicago Bridge and Iron or Bechtel or any of the big conglomerates in Asia here, Mitsubishi and Toyota and people like that. We have contacts at all those different places for your salesmen. So we call that the bike lane because takes the most effort. You have to track each project. The truck lane includes white papers. We've been writing articles for everything about water in India, and we write magazine articles on air pollution control, and we're writing for some Chinese magazines. We wrote one for FRP in China on the scrubbers that are made out of reinforced plastic. And we're doing these, what we call interweb views in our auto lane here, shared webinars, custom webinars, and YouTube. So we're actually putting interviews up on YouTube and presentations up on YouTube, which are in Chinese and in English and are being read around the world. And we also have this express lane where we would be putting up information in a case history format. And the way we would actually do that, let me just go back here to the product finder. We can actually set up a website with the universal NAICS codes on it and alphabetically. So, this would be Thermax air pollution control. And, Airpol makes fabric filters, for instance, for asphalt plants. So you'd be able to click alphabetically by the application descriptor, but then you'd be able to click by the NAICS codes as things as well. And you'd be able to go to these case histories, and we also can furnish you with process flow diagrams of where the filter, here's three options for a cement plant, for instance, where the scrubbers would go, and so there's a lot of information that would be very helpful to you in your sales. And the other thing is we would set up the internal systems, intelligence systems as well, but it all works around this whole concept of classifying and identifying all the applications. And of course, for Thermax in a larger role outside of air pollution control and things as well, having a intelligence system that you can go in by application and go to any application, if it's gas-fired plants or coal-fired power plants or cement plants, and pull up all the information that you need, either in terms of articles or presentations, the case studies, etc. So this is a system that you can have for your subscribers. This happens to be one that's universal, but you can have one that we would help you prepare just for. It would be up on your website and would just be for people who are trying to find a piece of air pollution control equipment, and they don't want to look too hard on your website, so they can click, if they're in the iron ore mining business, need an air pollution control, they can click right on iron ore mining and find out about one of your orders that you've successfully gotten somewhere. So that is the way that's all set up, and it's set up by product and by process and all sorts of different ways. So ash handling, if you're into the ash handling business, pumps and so forth there. So that is another feature. But let's move now into the actual services that you would obtain. And for instance, in the markets, one of the things that would be a report that you would get from us, let's go to the subscribers site, would be the Fabric Filter. So we'll go to the Fabric Filter publications, the Fabric Filter World Markets. And the password and username here, and everyone in your company that would register would have our own. Whoops, I'm in the FGD markets, but that's still good because that's another one that you want to be looking at. But it would identify all the FGD opportunities in every country. So, and for instance, here's the forecast for Asia. So you can actually go into Vietnam or one of these other countries and see the forecast for FGD systems, which is pretty modest in Vietnam, but $29 million. But in China, of course, it's huge. And so you can basically see the potential of using this for every different country. So it's over $1 billion, $1.5 billion a year in China. So the there are hot topic hours here as well, and I think these hot topic hours are very important because you can actually look at the recordings either chronologically or otherwise there by company, and so you can go in by company, or you can go in by subject matter and so forth there for actual PowerPoint presentations. The we have a monthly newsletter and things as well here. So the go through the entry to that as well. Log in here, and so you can go into to it in this fashion, or let's see, another way is to actually go in. Let's see, I think this probably is, yeah, this was the webinars up here, back newsletters. Let's see why we're having trouble getting in to this portion of it here. Okay, so you can look at the September newsletter here, and you can see things going on around the world as well as in the U.S. So, and the plans to convert plants in India to burn coal and things like that. So these will be opportunities that you would be finding here. And then the webinars are up here. So here is dry sorbent injection, for instance, and you can read the summary of it, listen, view the recording, or then you can actually go in and view the PowerPoint presentations themselves. So we'll get this over here. Let's see. I think that was not going to let me do that, but anyway, you can click and view the entire PowerPoint presentations in this system. So and then we have a similar system on Fabric Filter World Markets, and again you can get all sorts of information on the cost of bags, the cost of materials, how it's, so you got a feeling of where in the world where they're using membranes, high temperature, low temperature. And then again, you can go into the abstracts in the news. And so here the monthly newsletters, and we'll go into that. So here's the September newsletter again. And E-Energy to do retrofits and so forth here. So you'll learn about what's going on in Tianjin Cement, for instance, and 8 units with the pulse jet collectors that are going into this area of China. So, and who is actually supplying this equipment to them. So this is the Fabric Filter newsletter. And it also gives the information on regulations and information on the various competitors and things as well. So, for instance, American Air Filters opened up a new manufacturing facility in Malaysia, so that will be, I'm certainly of interest to you, because they would essentially then be a competitor, although they're not as much involved in the system market as they are furnishing the individual filters. There is information about each different industry as well, and so you have pulp and paper, metalworking, and other industries, and you can go in and search for those by pulp and paper, or the databases or the newsletters. You can go in and just search under Thermax or whatever, and if there is information in there, it would show up. So these are the kind of information that instantly shows up in that kind of a search. And so we will then move on to corporate performance. There is sales rankings and so forth. Information on, let's go back on that one here. Let's see, the 211 corporate sales yearly increases here, where you have performance data going out even to 2015 for companies in the field here. So that is another feature. And so we are tracking what the analysts are saying about these larger companies as well. So those are the sorts of databases that we have. The networking directory can be very valuable because you can go in and see who to contact at potential partner companies or OEM architect engineers or people like that. So you can go to Sargent and Lundy and people. You can see here all the different companies that you can go to, and here would be contacts at all these different companies that would be deciding, making recommendations to their clients about whose fabric filters and things to use at these places. And you can go into the networking directories by country as well. So you can go in under Chile or Canada or wherever and see information about people that are selling fabric filter equipment in Chile, and so in Canada and so forth. So this would be Barr and Murphy and some of these other companies. So and you can go in by product and etc. So there's comprehensive information about all potential partners and competitors and things here as well. So we do have additional services on electrostatic precipitators, and we have them on all the water subjects if you're into those areas. And we have them on thermal oxidizers as another area of air pollution control. And we also have them on the monitoring equipment as well. So these are all areas like in the air services. We have air watering and monitoring and fabric filter, FGD. We have the industrial scrubbers, which is the one that we quoted, one of the other ones that we quoted to you here. And though that gets into the asphalt plants and the center plants and all these different applications. We didn't quote you one on the NOx control markets, and we didn't quote one on the precipitator. But we have the Precipitator World Markets Report, and that is pretty much the same format as the others, with forecasts for every region for wet precipitators, dry precipitators. And again, it has the company profiles and webinars, corporate performance, the newsletters, and then lots of information about the power and all the other different industries as well. So, and then again, the news, you can go in by the passwords and things here, and you can go into the abstracts. You can search the web, or you can just go in by issue and see everything starting with the October issue here, and the most recent developments in that area. So the Vietnamese government signed a memorandum here for the 1,000 megawatt plant with precipitators. Now, we do have this kind of information in a much more organized fashion too. If you want to track all the power plants or the pharmaceutical plants or some of these others, then we have that information in some other databases. We have, and I won't go into all these, but I'll just show you one of them, and that's World Power Generation Projects. So you can actually look at projects anywhere in the world with that particular service. So we would be then, you can go to the startup date, for instance, and let's like by fuel summary, and let's go to, say, 2014, let's say 2015 startup. So there's still a chance to sell some air pollution control equipment for these plants in the U.S., and then these biomass and coal plants around the world, and Philippines and India and CFB plants in Vietnam and India and Vietnam and so forth here. So then there's details on each one of those plants and contacts and so forth in the database. But this is a good way to go into it by by the startup date. So these would be all the things you should be focused on for the very near term. So we do have similar, very comprehensive oil and gas project database around the world, and we have them on pharmaceuticals and semiconductors as well. So I think this is a brief overview of some of the services that we could be providing, which would give you the market forecasts and the trends, technology trends in each country. And this could also be supported by consulting, and we can recommend partners in various different areas, or representatives if you want to have your own sales staff but need manufacturers reps or sales reps. We can help you with that as well. So thank you for your attention, and we would be glad to have further webinars or otherwise answer your questions. And it's Bob McIlvaine signing off for now.